Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and in today's video we're doing a review of Animalize by Kiss. So this is the next album in line. In the previous video we reviewed Lick It Up, so this is the next album. I believe this came out in 1984, yeah, that's what's on the back. And I guess without further ado, let's get straight into reviewing the album. So basically, let's get started with the backstory. So first of all, Vinnie Vincent got fired. He was the replacement lead guitarist for Ace Frehley. He was only credited on Lick It Up. Out of all the Kiss albums, that's the only one he's actually ever been credited on. He did do some fill-in work on Creatures of the Night, like I mentioned in the previous videos. So we have a new guitarist, and his name is Mark St. John. So Mark St. John was actually only on this album. He is going to later, around the release of this album, he developed a hand problem, and obviously with a hand problem it's pretty hard to do touring with a band because you're having to play guitar, so that led him to having to leave the band. So yeah, he would later be replaced. So we'll get into who his replacement is in the next video, but yeah. So this is at a point in Kiss's career where Paul Stanley is sort of left to do a lot of the work on this album. And the reason I say that is because Gene Simmons around this time decided that he wanted to go do a movie. So while he was filming the movie, you know, he wasn't as involved with this album. So that left a ton of work for Paul Stanley to do. Paul Stanley produced this album. Gene Simmons is technically the associate producer. He's credited as the associate producer, but he, at least according to Paul Stanley's autobiography, he basically said that Gene didn't really do much, but he helped with a few small things, so they had to credit him as a co-producer. But yeah, Gene was off doing a movie, and that actually upset Paul Stanley quite a bit, that he just ran off and did a movie. You can read a lot about that in Paul Stanley's book, Face the Music, like I mentioned a second ago. That's a great book, by the way. You should check it out. But anyways, I guess let's talk about the songs themselves. I'm just going to mention a few of the songs that I thought were the best on this album. My favorites were probably the first song, I've Had Enough. Under the Gun, that's a really good song. Thrills in the Night, that's a good song. Heaven's on Fire, and Lonely is the Hunter. Those are probably my favorites. Those are really good songs. This album is actually pretty solid. Once again, it has sort of an 80s sound to it. Definitely. I would say this is more of an 80s sound compared to Lick It Up, the previous album. So yeah, their sound is quite different from previous albums. This album is actually, to me, pretty different from Lick It Up even. It just has a different feel to me. It might be because we have Mark St. John on guitar. It might be because of Paul Stanley producing. I don't know. It just has a different feel to me compared to other Kiss albums, which isn't a bad thing. This actually has a pretty good feel. You know, it has a good sound. I like this album. You know, it's a good album. It's not one of those albums I'm constantly jumping to listen to when I think of Kiss, but it's worth having. It's worth having. So I'd rate this probably like a 4-star rating. Same. I gave that star rating to Lick It Up as well. So I would give this one 4 stars as well. It's a good album. I would recommend it. If you're a Kiss collector, obviously you're gonna need to get this album if you want to complete your collection. So it's a good album. Definitely not their worst album. It's a good album. It has some good songs. And actually, Heaven's on Fire was a big hit. So yeah, they made music videos for Thrills in the Night and Heaven's on Fire, by the way. And yeah, it definitely has some good stuff on it. A lot of Kiss fans aren't huge on Heaven's on Fire, but I think it's a good song. Thrills in the Night is a great song. Under the Gun, I'm kind of repeating myself, I'm sorry, but there's not a whole lot to say about it. It's just sort of one of those albums that exists, but you're not constantly jumping to. But that doesn't mean it's bad. So, yeah, I think that's going to wrap up this video. I don't want to ramble on too much. I want to get to the point. So, if you did enjoy, please do consider subscribing to my channel. I really appreciate it. Leave a like on the video if you liked it, and I guess I'll see you guys in the next video. So, bye, guys.